If you are new to Airtable, Make, or n8n, this is going to be a quick win for you. Once you know how to make a trigger agent where you click this button and things happen, like for example this, I can click on it, it runs this incredible automation that comes back to us with 8 different scenes of Vikings basically taking over England, and you can see it's all happening automatically, including getting this image, damn. Or in this automation where I have an automatic to-do list, I just click on run, and as you will see in just a couple of seconds, the AI will rank it based on impact. As you can see here, impact, confidence, and effort, giving it a rise score. And it's all happening because I know how to make a trigger AI agent. This is one of the most foundational skills that took me about a year to learn into automations. And once I learned this, that's when everything changed for me. So today I will give you that quick win. I'll show you how to set this up from scratch. And once you learn how to actually set up a button like this, your entire world is going to change when it comes to automations. So sit back, take your hand, put your index finger on that mouse, and let's start clicking some buttons. That sounded way cooler in my head. Step number 1, get access to this Airtable. So inside of my school community, completely free to join, you can go inside the classroom and go to the quick wins classroom. Here, I have done this copy Airtable base. It looks exactly like this beginner quick win here that has an input, it has a open URL button, and it has an output. And this is really to teach you the foundational skill of making a trigger agent. And the example here that we're gonna do for beginners is, let's say we have an idea of a video that we want to make with AI. So a day in the life of a Viking invading England. If I just write that here, what we can do now is to actually send this information through a button, and then we get an output of, for example, 8 scenes that have 8 prompts for the video generator that I have, for example, done in Vibe Creator. So here we get 8 different scenes. They all have these prompts here, like for example, row, row, row your boat all the way across the foggy river. Someone already lost an oar. Classic. And of course we can use image generators. This dude looks so weird. The guy that lost his oar was definitely Rolf. So let's say this is the example, right? Well, what is actually going to happen is that we need to go to step number 2, create the simplest make.com automation. By the way, this also works in n8n, and we're gonna start from scratch in a new scenario. So I'm just gonna discard this changes, click on create new scenario in the top right. It works exactly the same in n8n. It's literally the exact same. So just click on webhooks as the trigger, then click on custom webhook as is what we're going to do. Then click on add, make a name for it. So we're gonna do June 17 and we're gonna do quick win. Here we're gonna click on save, and now it's not going to happen anything unless we actually make sure this webhook is triggered. So if we go back into our quick wins here, we can click on open URL edit field, and this is actually what we're sending. So this is the webhook we've had before, and now all we're going to do is to go all the way back from the question mark and click on paste. Did you see that? Let me do it again. Click on paste from the question mark, bang. This is literally all you need to do in order to make this work. However, what we're going to do is to send this input here. And because this is a beginner tutorial, I'm going to show you even more. So let's say that we have another field here as well, like insert right. We can have long text, and here I'm going to name it style. So let's say we have the image style, like for example, in the style of comic book. All right. So that's what we're going to do here. And you can even add more things here as well. Like you can add another single line and you can add more things. We're just going to do 2 because this is a beginner tutorial. Now, say we want to send both input and style in the URL formula. as you can see in the bottom here, the only thing we're actually sending is the name, which is the input. And you see that by this formula here. But if we want to send something else as well, I'm just going to copy and paste this exact thing. I'm going to see that this one is called style. So I'm going to make it named style here. And then I'm going to intentionally break it. Okay, so see here, we try to save. Oh, sorry, there's a problem. Well, all we need to do then is to copy it, go into ChatGPT, our best friend here. Then we're going to say, can you fix this for me? And seriously, this happens way more than I'd like to admit. And so as you can see, we have an intentional break there, and that doesn't work. So let's copy this one. Let's go back to our beginner quick wins and paste the exact thing. And now it's going to work. The same thing happens if you have, let's say, for example, you have 5 fields that you want to actually send. What you do then is to, let me actually show you, because this is a beginner tutorial. Let's say we do email. So now we actually have 4 different fields. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take a screenshot just like this. Then I'm going to go back to ChatGPT again. Can you make sure that all these fields are in the URL webhook formula? As you can see, input style, email, and name. And just like that, you have the entire Airtable formula. You go back again, go into the button, click on edit field, and here, boop, we got the entire thing. And now you know how to send everything from Airtable over to the webhook. So let me show you how this looks like now. If we click on save in our new scenario here, I'll just name it quick win trigger agent. Then we click run once. It's not going to run unless we actually click this button. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click it. We get accepted. And here we can go to the quick wins. And as you can see, what we actually get is the input. As you can see, a David in Life of Viking in England, style in the style of comic book, email is blank, name is blank as well. And these work so perfectly when it comes to actually entering into the next step, which is to do something with it, right? So what we're actually going to do, and what you'll probably use the most, is OpenAI ChatGPT. Here we'll click on the create a completion or prompt. And here, just make sure that you're actually connecting to the OpenAI playground. I'm not going to do a tutorial there. You can literally see the open online help here. The model we're going to do is the 4.0 model latest. That one is usually pretty good for most tasks, and it's also pretty cheap. So we can do that. And then we'll add a message. Because this is such an easy tutorial, I'm just going to make the easiest prompt here just to show you how it works. In here, we have a user, assistant, developer / system, and tool. You don't have to worry about these 3 now. I'll teach you that in another module. Just click on user, and here we enter a text content. This is exactly like prompting ChatGPT. So for example, you can get the input here. So a day in life of Viking invading England, bang. And then that is going to be the first part of the prompt. Now, the next thing is break this up into 8 different scenes that can get turned into an amazing AI TikTok video. So that's a basic prompt. I'll show you the more advanced prompt in the next step. However, that is literally all you need to do. And just for use cases here, imagine the input would be like an email that you get from gmail.com that is a customer support. You would say something like, hey, can you try to answer this email for me based on these principles, or something like that. That could be another example of how to use this trigger agent, or scraping, or a lot of other tasks as well. We get a red thing in the top here. I don't know why. I think it's just a bug that always happens. So we're just going to save again. Now, the next step is that we're going to update Airtable again. So what we need to do is to add the Airtable module. Then we're going to say upsert, because that is actually going to just give us one tiny thing that we can update. We're going to select the base, and that is beginner quick win, just like that. Then we're going to select the table 1. That's the only table we have. Then in the record ID, and this is why it's so cool as well, we get that from the webhook. So if you see here, record ID, this is what we're going to post into. Then we're going to have the output be the actual result of ChatGPT. So here, bang, we get the result, and that should be the entire automation in a nutshell, how to make a trigger agent. But there are a little bit more things that we need to talk about. All right, let's save it. Then let's click on run once. Now let's go back again, and this should be working completely fine now. If we click on this button, bang, quick win is going to trigger. We're going to get an OpenAI ChatGPT response, and in just a couple of seconds, we should get that into our Airtable again. It's working, it's churning, and boom, we got it coming back. Sure, here's how we can break this into a couple of different scenes. So as you can see, this was a basic prompt, but we get a really, really cool output back. And so, yeah, here we get the number 8 is like the end of it. Vikings regroup with loot, silver chalices, livestock, weapons, English manuscripts, even narration here. Every raid is just a step in the saga. We conquer not just with blades, but with minds. So here you can see that this was one of the prompts. Now, prompting in itself is obviously a whole new ball game, but that is exactly how to create your first trigger agent. To recap, you need to change the URL formula with your own webhook right before the question mark here. Second, you need to make sure that you have all the inputs that you want to take as inputs into the actual webhook itself. Lastly, you have to make sure that you have some inputs from the webhook into the ChatGPT so you can always change it. And then the final step is obviously just making sure that it's actually on every time you click the button. Now it's going to work. So once it's on in the top right, it should always be on, and you can just use it now again and again and again without any other problems. So a day in a life of Rapunzel. Just wait for it to save in the top left here. Saving, and then boom. You can also hold Command or Control to not have this accepted in the top, but in just a couple of seconds, boom. Absolutely, here is a breakdown. Bada bing, bada boom. I hope this helped. This was foundational for me and a quick win for you to turn anything into anything and get AI to do it again and again. And of course, you can add another button here to turn this output into another button that does another output. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hopefully this was worth it to watch this video. If it was, give me a like, give me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.